The boardroom falls silent. 23 pairs of eyes turn toward you, waiting for an answer you don't have. Your heart hammers against your ribs, but your face remains steady. This is the moment between worlds, where public composure meets private terror, where the fear gets so loud inside that it becomes completely quiet outside.
This is where character begins. The ancient Romans had a phrase for this state: the silent storm. It's the panic that no one sees, the anxiety that lives beneath every confident decision, the terror that accompanies every moment of real leadership.
Most people spend their lives running from this feeling. The Stoics learned to use it as a compass. Cato the Younger understood this better than perhaps any figure in history. When Julius Caesar's armies surrounded Rome and senators fled in panic, Cato stood in the forum and spoke with perfect calm. His friends later asked him how he managed such composure when the Republic was collapsing around them. His answer was profound. The fear never left. It simply stopped controlling the direction I walked. This is the first principle of quiet courage. Fear is not the enemy of character. It is the forge where character is hammered into shape. When pressure builds and everyone expects strength, the untrained mind either explodes into visible panic or freezes into paralysis. But the Stoic learns a third way: to let the fear grow so intense that it burns through into clarity. This is not suppression, this is transformation. Consider the moment when Cato received news that his beloved brother had died in battle. Witnesses described how he read the message, folded it carefully, and continued addressing the Senate for another hour before privately grieving. This wasn't coldness. Knowing that grief has its time and leadership has its time, and wisdom lies in not confusing the two. The second principle emerges from this story. Emotional discipline means feeling everything and being controlled by nothing. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Stoics knew intuitively. The brain that learns to hold fear without fleeing from it develops pathways for extraordinary calm under pressure. But this only happens when we stop treating anxiety as a problem to be solved and start treating it as information to be processed. The compass metaphor becomes crucial here. When a ship captain faces a storm, the compass doesn't eliminate the danger. It provides direction through the danger. Your fear is this compass. It points toward what matters most. The things that terrify you reveal the things you value most deeply. The situations that trigger your quiet panic are precisely the situations where your character will be tested and strengthened. Cato's compass was his commitment to virtue above comfort, principle above popularity. When faced with Caesar's bribes and threats, his fear told him exactly how high the stakes were, and therefore exactly how important it was to hold his ground. The greater the fear, the more crucial the stand. This brings us to the third principle. Let your fear teach you what deserves your courage. There's a story from Cato's youth that illuminates this point. His tutor, trying to teach him about power dynamics, brought him to meet a corrupt magistrate who was known for executing opponents. The other students were visibly nervous, eager to please this dangerous man. Cato sat silently, studying the magistrate's face with such intense calm that the man became uncomfortable and dismissed them early. Afterward, the tutor asked why Cato hadn't shown proper respect. Cato replied, "I was learning whether my fear came from wisdom or cowardice. It came from wisdom, so I used it to see clearly instead of to bow quickly." This is the art of reading your own fear. Cowardly fear makes you smaller. Wise fear makes you more precise. The panic that tells you to avoid all risk is cowardice. The panic that tells you to move carefully because something important is at stake. This is wisdom speaking. The fourth principle. Distinguish between the fear that protects and the fear that imprisons. In our age of constant performance, we've lost touch with the idea that visible composure can coexist with internal turbulence. We think courage means feeling fearless. The Stoics knew better. Courage means acting rightly while afraid. The strongest leaders, the most reliable friends, the most principled people are not those who feel no fear. They are those who feel fear and use it as fuel, instead of letting it use them. This is why Cato became legendary, not for his fearlessness, but for his reliability under pressure. His fellow senators knew that when the situation became desperate, when everyone else was calculating personal advantage, Cato would still be standing where principle demanded he stand. Not because he felt no fear, but because he had trained himself to let fear clarify his values rather than compromise them. Watch yourself in the next moment of quiet panic. Notice how the fear wants to make you smaller, faster, more reactive. This is the moment of choice. You can let the panic drive your decisions, or you can use it as information about what matters most, and then make your decisions from that deeper place. The fifth and final principle: when fear gets quiet, listen to what it's trying to teach you about your values. There's a profound difference between the person who avoids difficult conversations and the person who has them despite feeling anxious. There's a difference between the person who leads because they feel confident and the person who leads because leadership is required. The second person builds anti-fragile character. Each time they act rightly while afraid, the fear becomes less of a barrier and more of a guide. This is Cato's legacy. Not the elimination of fear, but the transformation of fear into a moral compass that points toward what matters most when pressure mounts and everyone is watching. The quiet panic doesn't disappear. It becomes the energy source for sustained courage. Your character is not built in the moments when you feel strong. It's built in the moments when you feel afraid and choose to act from principle anyway. The boardroom, the difficult conversation, the moment when standing up costs more than sitting down. These are where the quiet fear becomes the foundation for visible strength. The Romans believed that a person's true nature was revealed under pressure, not because pressure creates character, but because pressure strips away everything except character. When the fear gets quiet, when the panic settles into steady awareness, what remains is who you actually are beneath all the noise. If this moved you, comment "The Citadel holds" below. It is our sign that you carry the philosophy with you.